What up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Funboxing with Will. I'm your host, Will, with H2O Co Film and Photo, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Usually I do EDC reviews on folding knives in my collection, but recently I've been expanding my collection a little bit more, trying to broaden my horizons, and I've been picking up some very interesting fixed blades. So one of my folders that I just recently did a review on was the Beglighter folder from Kizer, and I recently found out that they had a fixed blade variant, the fixed blade version of the Kizer Beglighter. So today we're going to be checking out this piece right here. So let's get into that review today, guys. Alrighty, everybody, well, before we get into the review, just as always, I'd like to thank everybody who stopped into this channel just to check it out, or if you found any of this information at all informative or useful, please hit that like and subscribe button and turn on those bell notifications to get notified when I put out new content if you already haven't. If you have, I genuinely appreciate you. I'm getting really close to 1,000 subscribers here, and I've been doing this for about 3 years, so this is awesome for me. We're going to go ahead and get over to the business now. We're going to take a better look at this Kizer Beglighter over at the top-down setup. So let's go check out that knife now, guys. Alrighty, guys, now that we're over here at the top-down setup, we can take a closer look at this offering from Kizer Knives. Now, originally I had done a review on a folder version of this knife last week. It is the Kizer Beglighter, and this is one of my older knives in my collection. I've had it for about 2 years. Before I do the review, I generally don't do reviews on fixed blade knives simply because I don't own very many in my collection. I'm more of a folder collector, but recently I have been expanding my collection a little bit, and in doing so I felt like I should bring this kind of information to the channel as well. So basically, this is one of the few fixed blades that I own, and the reason I bought it was because I enjoyed the folder version of this. And if you'd like to see a full review on this knife, I'll link it in the, I'll throw up a link to it right here. But basically, the Kizer Beglighter is a very popular EDC folding knife, and it's been around for a couple years now at least. And there's a ton of different variants of the knife available in different steels and different handle materials. Well, recently, I had found out that they made a fixed blade version of it as well, and so I really wanted to pick it up and test it out and give it a look-see, just because I'd recently picked up another Kizer fixed blade that I had added to my collection, the Harpoon Mini, and I haven't done a review on this one yet, but I probably will be doing a review here very shortly on it. This is just a really well-made knife, and because of that, and because of my preference for the folder version of this knife, I decided to go ahead and pick this up. I think after tax and shipping and everything from Blade HQ, I ended up paying around $71 for this knife, which in my opinion is a great price. The blade material is going to be a D2 steel, so nothing super extravagant, no super steels here, but D2 is still a very good edge retention steel, you know, edge retention focused steel. It's a really all-around well-rounded steel when you look at it, and for the longest time it really was like the pinnacle of what you'd want for a knife. Back in the 90s, the D2 craze was huge. It's kind of dubbed down a lot ever since the invention of CPM super steels, but you know, you don't have to have the latest and greatest to still have a good quality product, and D2, in my opinion, is a time-tested steel. It's been around forever, and it's done a great job forever. It's a lot more edge retentive than, say, like AUS 8 or, you know, AUS 10 steel would be. And it's not quite as corrosion resistant as some of those steels. That is the one drawback to D2, is that it is called a semi-stainless steel, and you know, there's a lot of things you can do with that, one of which is put on a PVD coating such as this, which they did a really good job with the PVD coating. But yes, the blade steel is going to be a D2 steel on this Kizer with micarta handle scales that seem to be removable with Torx bits, which is really convenient in case one of them ever gets damaged and you needed to replace one, that you could potentially do that. The micarta in this handle is it's done so precisely. I don't know if you can, yeah, I'm going to show you guys that right there. It is just so well done. It's just amazing, the quality of it. There's no rough spots. It's flawless the way they've done the micarta, and it's just really impressive. I really do like that a lot. They've changed the blade shape to what I would consider a spear point. On the website, I believe it's considered a drop point is what they call it, but in my opinion, this is definitely a spear point tip, as opposed to the more clip point, I would say clip point style blade that is in the folder there. Size-wise, they're going to be really close though, surprisingly. That was one of the things that when I first opened this knife, I was kind of shocked about, was how big of a knife it is, but in such a slim, small package, if that makes any sense at all. It's just a very, very sleek knife, and it's very, I would definitely consider it a full-size knife. I think it's reaching over 8 inches here, so let's check this out. On the measurement, yeah, we're gonna have 8.4 inches from the tip of the blade to the end of the handle, with a cutting edge of 3 3/4 of an inch, 3.75 inches on that cutting edge there. So it is definitely going to be a full-size knife. I like the way they've done the jimping, and they've drawn it out almost halfway down the blade, or a little further than halfway down the blade. It seems to be a full flat grind, coming up 99 or 97% of the way to a swedge right here at the top. And it's just a very, very utilitarian design. I love the belly of this blade. And then they do have a sharpening choil here so that you don't get that smile when you start. You get longer lifespan out of the knife when you have a sharpening choil. And then as far as like, I have a full, I can get a full 4-finger purchase on this, and I have a large glove hand. And there's still plenty of pommel sticking out the back end. So I definitely would consider this to be a full-size fixed blade knife, but I just wouldn't consider it to be a super bulky full-sized fixed blade knife. Coming in with weight here, I want to say this thing's probably under 7 ounces, 6 or 7 ounces. Let's see what we got here. Let's go to ounces and see what this bad boy weighs here. Yeah, so it's coming in at 4.3 ounces, which is honestly, for the size of this thing, very impressive. And a 3.5 inch cutting edge to come in at 4.3 inches. You're kind of getting that it's close to that 1 inch of steel per 1 ounce ratio on the knife. Another thing that I noticed about this knife is that it's just very well balanced here, where you would put your finger on the finger choil where it would naturally place in the saber grip position. The knife is just super well balanced, and then you can even choke up on the knife if you'd like. So that was something I really did appreciate about the design. And then getting into the thickness of the blade stock here, we'll see how thick that is real quick. It isn't what I would consider a super slicey blade, but you know, for a bushcraft knife, I don't think that's what you're going for, is super slicey. So we're coming in with 0.1275 or 280 on the blade stock thickness, and then coming in behind the edge here, we're gonna have a 400 thousandths of an inch behind the edge, which isn't, like I said in previous videos, anything below 500 is somewhat slicey of an edge, but this is definitely getting to that point there where it's gonna get, you know, less of a slicey dicer of a knife and more of a, as I said, bushcraft knife for hard use. It's just all around definitely a good option for somebody on a budget, and from what I can tell through looking at this knife, comparing it to the Harpoon Mini, it's an amazingly well built knife, and I'm very impressed with it. The PVD coating seems to be very durable. I haven't had any of it scratch off, and I've put this knife to use already, cutting down some wood and stuff, and then cardboard as well. But this knife is more so for, like I said, outdoor door type scenarios. So when I did do my cuts, I try to veer away from, when I test a knife, I try to do it with the material that would most likely be used in a natural setting. So, you know, if I have something like an 80-25, I'm going to test this on cardboard, whereas with this, I'm going to try to baton wood with it, in that's the difference when I test it, you know. And so this was definitely used a lot harder than I would have used any of my folding knives. And the PVD coating is scratched, a little bit smudgy, you know, you can see the smudges there, here and there. But I'm pretty sure that I could get that off with some isopropyl alcohol if I just gave it a good wipe down. I didn't notice any actual scratches in the coating itself. And like I said, I am in love with the way they did this micar to handle. It's a very ergonomic knife. It's very comfortable, and I kind of like the fact that they changed up the blade profile to this spear point or drop point, as they say, just because it just suits it better for its purpose. And then it came with this very, very useful Kydex sheath here. The one thing I did notice about the sheath that I didn't necessarily like, whereas it is very good for, you know, it's got good retention. You're not going to drop the knife out of this. And it's even got this little thumb placer here, so you can literally just push the knife out, and that's very convenient and very ergonomic right there. The one thing I did notice, though, is that for some reason, unless I'm just being ignorant and I don't know how someone would mount this other than this, to mount it horizontally on your belt. You can't mount it vertically. So as if you would like to carry it on your side of your belt, you can't really do that. You have to carry it more on your back of your belt or the front of the belt. And that's just something that I don't prefer doing. I always prefer carrying a pocket knife if it's a fixed blade on my hip, basically. And I'd prefer the orientation to be vertical as opposed to sideways. But I'm going to look into it and see if maybe they make some aftermarket Kydex sheaths for it somewhere else, and if I do, I will go ahead and update this video and let you guys know. But other than that one flaw with the sheath itself, it's an all-around great purchase for $71, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody on a budget. But that's about it for this review today, guys, so we're gonna get back over to the desktop setup and finish up this video. Thanks for checking out the knife. Alrighty guys, well that's it for today's video. Like I said earlier, if you found any of this information at all informative or helpful at all, please hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on those bell notifications to get notified when I put out new content, and I should be putting out a new video, a new review here coming this next week. So until next time guys, everybody out there stay safe, and above all, stay creative, my friends. We need more of that in this world, especially today. Have a good day, and until next time.